hotels in the area are completely sold out. Parking lots are packed. I mean, why do you think that there's so much excitement surrounding this launch? Because this is not a typical day at the Space Coast.
It's the biggest rocket in the world by far. It's like the first time something exciting has happened in rocket launch in a very long time, apart from, our boosters landing. Whether the rocket succeeds or fails, it's going to be exciting. People are coming from all around the world to see what will either be a great rocket launch or the best fireworks display they've ever seen.
When you guys were first trying to land the booster from Falcon 9, you likened the difficulty level to balancing a rubber broomstick on your hand in the middle of a windstorm.
Right.
So how would you categorize the difficulty level of this launch?
Well, it's kind of like balancing 3 rubber broomsticks in a windstorm. So the most thing I'm most worried about on ascent is that you've got these 3 rockets which are, even though they look stiff, they're kind of floppy under these high loads. So you could have the bodies bending and smacking into each other. You've got unbelievable sound levels and vibration levels. 5 million pounds of thrust is 18 747s at full blast.
Yeah,
so
that's
this is
a lot.
Really crazy amount of power going through this, and it's really a miracle that that rocket holds together at all. The separation system that tosses off the side boosters has never been tested before in space, so that's going to be a big deal for that to work. And then, even once it's in orbit, it's going to be the longest coast mission we've ever done. So it's going to be coasting for 6 hours in just blackest space, deep in a vacuum. At 3 degrees above absolute zero on one side, searing heat on the other. So you could have vaporization of oxygen, you could have the fuel freeze, and
so
that's all
before.
Yeah, a lot could go wrong.
A lot of firsts happening tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of firsts.
So what would a success or possible failure of this launch mean for SpaceX?
Well, I think let's focus on the success.
Right, think positive.
The success part is it means that we'll have a rocket that can carry the biggest satellites in the world. In fact, people can actually make even bigger satellites than before. We could, if we wanted, take Crew Dragon that's under development and send people on a loop around the moon and actually go further than they went in Apollo. These are all possible with Falcon Heavy.
Washington is paying very close attention to this launch. Even Mike Pence's chief of staff tweeted that a successful launch could have, quote, major positive ramifications for the U.S. space industry.
Right.
So what do you think those ramifications could look like?
Apart from the obvious stuff like providing competition for national security space launches, it will mean that there's a U.S. heavy lift rocket that's the most competitive in the world. Our rocket will cost about half as much as other heavy lift rockets from Russia, Europe, and China, and be able to do twice as much payload.
What will this mean, though, for the government's own heavy lift rocket program, the SLS?
Well, I think it's going to give the government options. So it's good to have options for advancement of human spaceflight, and the competition is a good thing.
10, 9, 8,
side booster ignition.
6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Seconds, if you can hear me over the cheering. Falcon Heavy heading to space on our test flight, building on the history of Saturn V Apollo, returning pad 39A to interplanetary missions. We're getting ready to throttle down for max Q.
Supersonic.
You've heard the call out. Vehicle is supersonic. Side boosters are now throttling back up to full
Vehicle has
power.
reached maximum dynamic pressure.
We're past max Q, the period of maximum loads on the vehicle. Next up, we'll be waiting for the side boosters to begin to throttle down prior to booster engine cutoff and separation 2.5 minutes into flight. GNC trajectory looks good on the Falcon Heavy. Reports show that the M1D engine performance is nominal.
That engine has begun.
Side boosters have begun to throttle down in preparation for the upcoming shutdown in 20 seconds. Major event coming up with side booster shutdown and separation.
Inside shutdown. Side boosters. Beacon. Center. Filters halfway. We're throttling up. S1 keeps going. Still booster base box started.
Successful separation. We're coming up on Miko and shutdown.
Stay set. Separation confirmed. Event recognition. This big burn looks good on side boosters. Spectrum startup.
Coming up on fairing separation.
Center core side engines on power, also look good.
Oh, any David Bowie fans? Space Oddity? I mean, I don't know about you all. I have goosebumps. I'm missing these space shuttles. This is the rocket. Ladies and gentlemen, you are looking at the most powerful rocket in operation in the world today. That is what we are witnessing thanks to Elon Musk and SpaceX. You know, he wants to take people up to Mars, but this so far, in terms of a rocket, has been a success. Look at that crowd looking upwards and applauding. There they are. Let's go to Miles O'Brien first of all, who you know knows all things space, and I mean a huge moment, obviously, for Elon Musk and SpaceX. What's the goal here?
The goal right now, Brooke, is for me to get my composure. I'm a little misty. This is an emotional moment. I'm like you on this. I've missed greatly the launches of the shuttles. I never had the opportunity to see in person a launch of a Saturn V. I wish dearly I was in Florida today, but couldn't get there. You know, looking at that crowd, one of the things that really strikes me is if you think about how the United States got to the moon, it was on the backs and the brains of 20-somethings, really smart young people. Look at that crowd there in Hawthorne, California, the SpaceX team. It's a new generation of space travelers and explorers that are putting this amazing rocket into space, and really, in so many ways, a game changer for ultimately exploring space in a more sustained way. So this is a big moment.
And Leroy Chow, I've got you also, a retired NASA astronaut, also I imagine equally misty-eyed, talking about SpaceX's Falcon Heavy rocket there and the successful launch. What are you thinking as you watch that go up, and away?
Well, I tell you what, I am pretty overcome. This is fantastic. This is the first time in a very long time we've launched a rocket. Anyone has launched a rocket that's this powerful, and watching it fly away, it looks like everything's still going nominally. Of course, we're not out of the woods. We've still got the upper stages continuing to burn, and we're all watching that. But you know, the first stages look flawless. Everything looked great. As Miles was saying, you know, that crowd of young people out in Hawthorne is just really inspiring. I think this is an important moment for exploration, and that's what's really unique is you have visionaries like Elon Musk who want to put their own profits into exploring space, and that's why this rocket is being built and flown. It's got much too much capacity to just launch a satellite. So this is a big moment.
And we should also point out, I mean, I think people are being also, this is an incredible moment, but more lighthearted. There are no Leroy Chows on board, the Falcon Heavy rocket, Miles. This is what they call there's a dummy payload on board. There's a hunk of metal. In fact, it's my understanding that Elon Musk actually put up his own Tesla Roadster as part of this launch in this rocket. Is that right?
That is right. That's a used Tesla that Elon himself drove with a essentially a crash test dummy. I would certainly never call my friend Leroy a dummy, but this is a substitute astronaut for now. I mean, what they do typically on space tests like this, what NASA would do, is put ballast in there, a hunk of concrete or something, just to give it some weight. And part of what I appreciate is the enthusiasm and the tweaks and the sense of humor, and frankly, for Elon, the cross-promotional benefits of putting a Tesla in orbit for 1 billion years around the sun and near Mars.
And by the way, I've got one more voice, Rachel Crane, who's actually there. Lucky fellow space geek who's there taking it all in, jumping up and down. I feel your enthusiasm, jumping in front of the camera. Rachel, talk to me and tell me also about these boosters.
Right. Well, Brooke, we did just see 2 boosters coming down moments ago, but the entry burn was shut down. We don't see them anymore, but I do hear people cheering around me. There's a couple buildings, so it's blown. Oh, there's a sonic boom. Woo! So, wow, Brooke, if I can't even begin to describe the excitement around me. I mean, everybody's come out from the buildings here at Kennedy Space Center to
pan the camera over.
Can you guys turn the camera over to see it?
No, there's a building.
Sorry, Brooke, there's a building right in the
worries.
way of seeing this these incredible landings. Unfortunately, I can't see them myself, but to describe feeling this launch here at Kennedy Space Center, this historic launch of Falcon Heavy, I mean, this is one for the books. Brooke. It was really, truly incredible. Yesterday, I spoke with Elon Musk. He was, running through all the things that could possibly go wrong here. He said that he would consider it a success if the rocket just simply cleared launch pad 39A. Of course, this is a historic launch pad. This is where, Apollo 11 sent humans to the moon. But had it been destroyed with this launch, it also would have delayed all their further launches. They said that Falcon Heavy could be ready to relaunch in 3 to 6 months. Of course, that would have been delayed if the launch pad was destroyed. As we saw today, it was successful. It was not destroyed, so that will not be a problem. But we're waiting to see just how successful it was. As you were just speaking with Miles, there is his own personal Tesla Roadster on board with that, space dummy on there playing David Bowie's Space Oddity. We don't know exactly how far it's gotten at this point, but we will keep you updated as we get all of this incredibly exciting space information. Brooke.
I love the enthusiasm. Rachel Crane, my friend, thank you so much. I've still got Miles O'Brien and Leroy Chow with me. And so, Miles, just back over to you. Where exactly is the rocket going?
It's going in a what they call a highly elliptical orbit, and it orbits actually around the sun, and it will sort of meet up, kind of racetrack style, merging with Mars on occasion. So it's about 250,000 miles at its farthest distance from Earth. So it's a pretty decent stretch of the way to Mars. Obviously not entering Mars orbit or landing on Mars, but that Tesla Roadster will just be orbiting there for who knows how long, for the eons, with the dummy looking out the window into the void.
Wow.